It was September of 2021 when Insomniac Games announced Spider-Man 2. They gave us the cinematic trailer, announced that it would be dropping in 2 years, 2023, and then went radio silent. If you're anything like me, you have spent every waking day since that cinematic trailer waking up and sleepwalking through this miserable slog we call life, working through our miserable entry-level jobs, praying that the Insomniac gods will shower more details about Spider-Man 2 from their ivory game studio. But alas, Insomniac has been slow to hear our cries as we wither down here on Twitter, just gobbling up any accidental information leaked by the voice actors as if it is rare solid gold. But tomorrow, that is all going to change. I mean, it has to, right? Like, they have, 3 months before the game is supposed to launch? Tomorrow we are getting another PlayStation showcase at long last, and as mentioned, Spider-Man 2 is launching in fall of 2023. That has been confirmed multiple times, and so to wait any longer to market this game would be absolutely ludicrous. So before we get this inevitable look at the sequel tomorrow, I wanted to discuss 5 features that I really hope to see in Insomniac's Spider-Man 2. Coming in at number 5, I have a day-night cycle, and this could include random weather events as well. It's interesting because Spider-Man games do have a history with day-night cycles. In earlier games like Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Web of Shadows, there was consistently a day and night cycle. I'm not entirely sure why this feature has been removed in later games because really since The Amazing Spider-Man, the day-night cycle has been replaced with just a choose the time of day system. So even in the Insomniac games, when you want to swing around at night, you have to go and select from a menu that you want it to be night, and then it will change to night. And that's not a terrible alternative. I'm just not quite sure why that switch was made. Nothing felt quite as immersive when swinging around New York City than when the sun set, or when you were swinging around at night and suddenly the sun rose. And considering how much attention to detail Insomniac puts into their games and how complex the weather systems and crowd systems could be in the city, I feel that a day-night cycle could just add to the immersion of swinging around New York City. I could see some people arguing that a day-night cycle could interrupt the flow of the game. One perk to the way that Insomniac handles the transitions between day and night is that they are always in control of what time of day it is when a story mission starts. So what happens, you might wonder, if we're asked to stop Felicia Hardy from robbing a bank in the dead of night, except we choose to complete that mission in the middle of the day? But plenty of games have overcome this. Games like Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption. Basically, you can either just tell the player to go back into the city and come back to the story start point when it's the appropriate time of day, or you can just have the game fast forward to whatever time of day it's supposed to be. To be honest, I feel like the former of those two options, where the game tells you, you know what, go explore the city, get some collectibles, that could be a good way to pace out this game, because then rather than just streamlining the main story very quickly, you could have some downtime to go and get those collectibles. Or the game could even compromise. It could just ask you to go back to your home base. It could ask you to go visit Peter or Miles' living space, depending on who you are playing as, and it could have you rest until the appropriate time of day, sort of like the meditation feature of Assassin's Creed, where it does fast forward to the time of day, but in the canon of the game, your character is resting. It could help you regain health, and it ultimately could just allow the player to fast forward to the next story beat if they're not really interested in the side content, but it would still allow that downtime to exist for people who are interested in the side content. At number 4, I'm going to put an expanded friendly neighborhood app. I think that the Miles Morales game was a fantastic start to this feature. Basically, it's a feature that allows Spider-Man to go and just help the everyman around the city. These missions just added so much variety to the city, and it helped me as the player feel more connected to the NPCs around New York City. It made me feel like there were actual stakes when I was fighting the villains because there were people I cared about in the city whose lives were in jeopardy. I would love for them to push this even further in the sequel. There could be recurring NPCs, and we could also just see a lot more of them. When I play Spider-Man 2, I'd love to have side missions where I take on Tombstone or Mysterio, but I'd also love side missions where I get to help a guy save his cat from a tree, or help swing people to hospitals when ambulances are unavailable. Spider-Man 2 could also benefit from doing what Spider-Man 2 of 2004, which was the movie tie-in game, did, where we get some side activities that are more tied to the professional lives of our main characters. In Spider-Man 2, you could go take pictures for the Daily Bugle, you could go on dates with Mary Jane, you could go deliver pizzas, It could be interesting as Miles Morales is starting his music career and Peter Parker is potentially starting a teaching career to see side missions that bleed into those professional lives. We've already seen some of that in Miles Morales, who went around and found sounds that you could mix together as he was gaining experience as a musician. It could be cool to see an expansion of that, and for Peter, it could be cool to see him doing side activities as Spider-Man that would help his professional life. Coming in at number 3, I have the dual play system. This isn't really a feature that we've seen in Spider-Man games, but it is something that we've seen in the Batman games. In Batman Arkham Knight, when you were fighting through a room as Batman, there were moments in the game where you would be fighting alongside Robin or Nightwing or Catwoman, and all you had to do was press a button and you would switch to the other character in the room. So Batman would toss a thug up into the air, Robin would catch him and start punching him, and you would assume control as Robin until you press the button again when you would switch back to Batman. Considering that there are 2 Spider-Men in Spider-Man 2, it would be a fantastic addition to add into combat. It could also be fun to swing around the city as Peter, press a button, have him zip around a corner, and then have Miles jump into frame and then seamlessly be playing as him. That could be a more fluid way to switch characters rather than having to go to designated points around the city to switch. If they do that, that would be fine, but I just think that having a more dual play fluid mechanic would really add to the immersion of the game. At number 2, I actually have a choice system. Now, when I say a choice system, I don't mean that I need a super branched narrative. I don't need a Telltale Spider-Man story with an Insomniac gameplay loop, but it would be interesting to have some variety in how we choose to handle missions. Assuming that we'll get to take control of either Peter or Miles at various points of the story when one or both of them have the symbiote suit on them, it could be cool to do what Web of Shadows did, where you had some variety in how you could complete objectives. You could either give in to the dark temptations of your character, or you could just be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that everyone knows that you are. Insomniac has done a very good job of writing a very compelling version of these characters, and it could be interesting to give the player a little bit more agency. Again, I don't know how well a super branched narrative could work, but it would be interesting if there were 2 different ways that missions could be completed based on if you were wearing the symbiote or not. Again, I don't know if the game will give you a choice or if it will be very tied into the story, but if there is room for there to be some kind of basic choice system, I think that that would go a long way. So I'm about to get to number 1. I do just want to say that if you're enjoying the video, please be sure to like and subscribe, as I have a lot more Spider-Man 2 content planned, and I'm really excited to share it all with you. So again, please be sure to like and subscribe if you are enjoying the video, and let's get into number 1, which is compelling symbiote gameplay. Now, there have been multiple attempts to bring symbiote Spider-Man gameplay to life, and even Venom gameplay in Ultimate Spider-Man. And some of those, especially Web of Shadows, have been very valiant efforts. Web of Shadows did a great job of making you just feel very powerful when you were wearing the symbiote. I want Insomniac to push that even further. I just want them to push this to the most extreme level that they can without like breaking the game due to glitches or poor optimization, which Insomniac is not known for. I'm not worried about that. But when I get the symbiote on in this game, I want to be so fast and so strong. I almost want to be scared for the health and safety of the criminals that I'm beating up. I'd love for the boss encounters to just be off the wall insane. I don't know how much inspiration they're going to pull from Web of Shadows. Like, I don't know if they will have the villains be symbiote enhanced, like if we'll go up against a symbiote infused Vulture, but even if just Spider-Man is wearing the symbiote, I want them to up the ante of those boss battles. I'm just imagining how cool it would be to see both Spider-Men teaming up against Green Goblin or Venom in this game. And I guess that's actually the other side of the coin. As much as I want to feel and experience the power of the symbiote, I also want it to feel intimidating. I want to be scared when I have to go up against Venom just because I know how powerful he's going to be. Or alternatively, how cool would it be if Peter gets the black suit, gets corrupted by it, and then you have to go up against him as Miles. Imagine Spider-Man fighting Spider-Man who has been corrupted by an alien life form. I just feel like the story potential for the symbiote is fantastic, but even more than that, the gameplay potential is phenomenal. There is so much that they can do, and there is just so much scope that they have to work with. I absolutely trust Insomniac. I think they're going to knock it out of the park, and I cannot wait to see more tomorrow. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Please be sure to let me know in the comments below what you would like to see in Spider-Man 2 and what you'd like to see from the game at the PlayStation Showcase coming in mere hours from now. Again, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and we will see you guys